What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're watching Nwadei MMA, where I give you my thoughts, but more importantly ask for you guys' thoughts about everything going on in the MMA community, because there's always something going on. Now guys, soon I'm going to be dropping my UFC 302 breakdown for Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier, and also Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa as well. And we're going to be coming out with more and more breakdowns. I've been out for a while, but I'm back and better. Now, not only has the MMA community been booming, but you've been seeing me post a lot about the boxing community, because that's also been booming. So let me know if you've been liking the boxing and MMA content I've been coming out with as of recent, or what kind of videos you would like to see more of. But Dana White just dropped some major news. UFC 304 has been announced, with the main event being Leon Edwards versus finally Belal Muhammad for the UFC welterweight strap. Jesus Christ, if you have been following the channel for a while, you guys have known that I've been just begging for Belal Muhammad to get his shot at the title. I mean, his last fight was against Gilbert Burns. Am I right in saying that? Gilbert Burns, which was literally over a year ago. I mean, May of 2023 is when he fought Gilbert Burns. It's been a year. He's now 35 years old. I mean, you know, tell me if I'm tripping, but I think someone might have been trying to wait Belal Muhammad out. Now, there couldn't have been that many things going on with Leon Edwards, or that many things going on with anything else in the welterweight division to where he should not have gotten this title fight sooner. Yes, Leon Edwards did fight Colby Covington instead of Belal Muhammad, which Dana White approved, as we all know, was a mistake. But here we are. Alright, no more complaining. We're here. Belal Muhammad is getting his rematch against Leon Edwards. The first fight, there's a little bit of controversy because of the eye poke and Leon Edwards hurting him with a head kick before the eye poke, but we're gonna get to that fight in a second. Other fights that were announced on that card were Manel Kape versus Muhammad Mokaev, maybe one of the best flyweight fights in recent memory, at least to be matched up. We'll see if it actually goes through. There's been a lot of flyweight pullouts, specifically on the end of Joshua Van, if you guys have been paying attention to him. Reason I bring him up, he is a former Houston flyweight, or well, I guess current Houston flyweight, and he's been matched up to fight damn near everybody. He was matched up against Tatsuro Taira, who was another undefeated flyweight, but Tatsuro had to pull out, and he has another opponent. However, Manel Kape has also been known to pull out. He rarely ever makes it to the octagon to actually fight. It's either him or his opponent pulling out. Granted, he was not the one to pull out of that Kai Kara-France fight. Kai is the one who pulled out, which he then fought a very good fighter on short notice in Felipe dos Santos. But since then, he's had two canceled matchups with Mateus Nicolau, and you know, the streak is damn near continuing. I don't even know if he can make this weight anymore. I mean, he's been having weight troubles, injury problems, you know. Maybe he just needs to move up to bantamweight. But if he can get to the fight, and if he can face off against Muhammad Mokaev, undefeated at flyweight in the UFC, arguably should have had that title shot fight over Steve Erceg. I don't know why Dana White went with Steve Erceg on that one. Not saying Steve Erceg isn't one of the best flyweights in the world, because I think he proved that, but that's just the scenario. So very exciting fight there. And then we also have Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes, and you guys know I have a lot of thoughts about this one. I have a lot of shit I have to air out about this one, particularly on the side of Jon Jones, because what the fuck is going on, huh? Yes, Jon Jones is hurt. I understand that. And before we actually get into everything, I need to talk to you guys about that. Let's talk about some of the other matchups, like Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. That's a very tough fight for Arnold. Arnold Allen just never has any easy fights, huh? It's just all tough fights. Even this one, maybe he's not going against a wrestler, which, to be honest, I thought he should have beaten Evloev. Really close fight. Didn't get it on the scorecards, but we had that whole grounded knee controversy and all that. To be honest, in my head, he's honestly a higher ranked contender than Evloev at this point. But he's fighting Giga Chikadze, who is honestly a stuffed style matchup, just because Arnold Allen's really a striker too. Yes, he can mix it up very well. Good in the clinch, good at cage grappling, and I've seen him take opponents down and do really well on top. But Giga Chikadze, who trains with Beneil Dariush, who's been only working on his ground game, you would have to imagine, for the past, year and a half since he fought Calvin Kattar, and who has already had devastating, tremendous stand-up, big guy for the division. That's a tough fight for Arnold Allen. That's a really good fight, and we're going to have to break that one down. But we also have Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett. Might have wanted to see either the Renato Moicano matchup or the Chase Hooper matchup, because Chase Hooper is on that 3-fight win streak in the lightweight division. That would have been very exciting, and it would be like grappler versus grappler, so we could really see where Paddy Pimblett shines or see if his striking has gotten better. But he's getting Bobby Green, another guy who he's gonna, of course, be trying to take down if he tries to brawl with Bobby Green. Well, I mean, it's another older fighter, you know. You got first Tony Ferguson, 39 years old now. Bobby Green, 38 years old. Not to say Bobby Green still isn't doing very well, because he is, but they're feeding him the right opponents, I would say. You don't want to feed him top 5 right now. He's just not ready. We have to see if he's ready, but that's an exciting matchup. Always excited to see Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett fight separately. Together, only better. And Bobby Green's been calling him out for a while, so I'm glad they got that one done. And now, what we've all been waiting for, the Tom Aspinall and Curtis Blaydes matchup. Now, what's so peculiar about this? First, it might just be that Tom Aspinall is the interim heavyweight champion, but he's defending his belt. I don't think we've ever seen that in the UFC, other than, I guess, kind of Israel Adesanya being the interim champion and unifying it with Robert Whittaker. It wasn't really a defense, but you know what I mean? So, right there, just starting off is kind of ridiculous, but I wouldn't be so inclined to assume that Tom Aspinall couldn't have waited for the winner of Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. I'm pretty sure Dana White would have allowed him to just wait, sit on the sidelines. Now, Tom Aspinall is taking the initiative. Tom Aspinall is the one who wants to stay active. Keep that in mind. Tom Aspinall is the one who is defending his belt. Now, on the side of Jon Jones, we're seeing all these fans, a lot of them coming from the MMA Guru's YouTube channel, right? Talking about Jon Jones ducking Tom Aspinall, and that Jon Jones is trying to fight Stipe, he's the easier fight, and he's trying to fight Alex Pereira, he's the easier fight. And the latest I've been hearing, is this how Jon Jones is going to be remembered? Is Jon Jones going to be remembered for ducking Tom Aspinall, or for choosing the easier opponents? I mean, if we look at what this decision by Tom Aspinall does for the UFC heavyweight division, to be honest, I think it puts more value on his interim belt than it does on Jon Jones's undisputed heavyweight belt. Because if you think about the history, and if you think about how this is gonna age, well, it's already aging pretty poorly for Jon Jones. If you think about it, not only did Jon Jones not actually beat the real champion in order to get the belt at heavyweight, because Francis Ngannou, we all know the situation there, he left the UFC, but Jon Jones beat the guy who lost to Francis Ngannou in Ciryl Gane. Granted, Ciryl Gane's a really good fighter, but an undedicated, wrestling neglecting Ciryl Gane, and he's even admitted it. Now, he did wash Ciryl Gane, he beat him very easily, but is that opponent more satisfying than a Tom Aspinall defeating a surging Sergey Pavlovich with how many first round knockouts did he have? Or is that more important than him beating Curtis Blaydes, who just got done knocking out Yaelton Almeida, and who's been a perennial contender for the longest time? I don't know if it does. I mean, what will history say about this age and this day in MMA? Are they gonna say, oh, Jon Jones, he waited for the greatest heavyweight of all time, Stipe Miocic, he ended up getting hurt, and then they made that match? Because if you think about it, right now we have two champions, but they both have equal claim to the throne. Jon Jones is not champion over Tom Aspinall. They're right here, 1A, 1B, but there really is no 1B. You know what I mean? They both didn't defeat a former champion. They both grabbed vacant belts, but Tom Aspinall kind of did it on short notice, 2 weeks, didn't really train for it, knocked him out unconscious. Whose victory is really aging better? Now Jon Jones is talking about, sitting out to fight Stipe, who is what, 41, 42 years old, missing an eye, and no, he's not gonna be the same Stipe regardless. Nobody really wants to watch that fight. And then he's over here calling out Alex Pereira, a smaller guy who we all think he's gonna beat. He's not fooling anyone by doing that, other than maybe the casual John Jones fanatics who want to see him retire undefeated, even though Dominic Reyes beat his ass for 15 minutes, and even though Thiago Santos beat him with 2 blown out knees. I mean, is this how John Jones is going to be remembered, or is maybe Tom Aspinall going to lose and this all going to get washed away by Curtis Blaydes, because he has a very tough matchup in Curtis Blaydes, and the Curtis Blaydes that we saw fight him the first time was actually stunning him with jabs. He was outboxing him for the most part. Tom Aspinall didn't use any of his grappling that we know is very great, because you're gonna hear me say this time and time again. Gilbert Burns actually said Tom Aspinall might have the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC. High compliments, high praise from a jiu-jitsu world champion in Gilbert Burns. Anyways, but that was before Curtis Blaydes fought Yeltsin, and it was known that Curtis Blaydes can actually be taken down, being a former wrestler in himself. Yeltsin Almeida was kind of ragdolling him in that first round, taking him down over and over again. Now, will Tom Aspinall take that approach? I think we have yet to see, but we know he didn't take that approach in the first fight that they had. He didn't try to shoot, not once. It was a straight up striking matchup until he blew out his knee and Curtis won that fight. So, very tough matchup he has in Curtis Blaydes coming up. Who do you guys think wins that fight? And what do you think this means for John Jones? Let me know in the comment section down below. But going back to the main event, dude, this one is going to come down to pace. It's going to come down to cardio. I think that Leon Edwards is definitely the better striker. I think he's even the better grappler. And generally, if you think about those two things, you're like, okay, Leon Edwards is going to win this fight then, right? No, wrong. Belal Muhammad has great wrestling. I think his wrestling is better. He could push a pace. We all know that. We saw that in the Sean Brady fight and a lot of his other fights. His striking is good enough to outbox and outstrike Vicente Luque, staying on the outside for all 5 rounds. And he's fought and game planned for Leon Edwards before. Not to mention, he is back training with all the Nurmagomedovs. I mean, we saw the announcement when he got the news that he's fighting for the title. He was with Usman Nurmagomedov, Umar Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev. We know that he's training with them, and they always bring great game plans. They've used to train with Leon Edwards. Islam Makhachev wants to fight Leon Edwards. What does this mean? To be honest, I think that Leon Edwards can still be broken mentally. I don't want to say he has that quit in him, because we didn't see that in the Usman fight, but he has those moments in that fight going with a strong wrestler, to where if you get him playing that wrestling game, getting taken down, getting back up, he's going to fatigue. He's going to be very selective with his shots, and you're going to be able to push that pace on him. He's one of those kind of strikers. But if he gets Belal Muhammad down on his back and he's on top of Belal Muhammad, I think that changes the whole fight right there. So it depends how that plays out. I'm going to break that one down later for sure. But guys, what are your early thoughts and predictions for that fight? Let me know in the comments down below. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning back in to Nwadei MMA. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.